of frustration, full of despair. From years of hurt, disappointment, and relegation. Two British football fans have had enough. Canary bird Elliot Holman and Wanderer Henry Hewitt are in search of glory, pride, passion, in search of silverware. And they found Major League Soccer.
Welcome home, Wayne Rooney, and welcome to the MLS UK show. I'm Elliot Holman.
And I'm Henry Hewitt.
Lots to talk about, as always. Mainly just a Brit smashing it in MLS. Oh, wait, that happens every week now.
It does. I wish he'd take some of this weather with him. Oh, it's hot.
Yeah,
we're not used to this.
It's classic UK situation. We've stood here when we've had to have the heater on in the corner and then turn it off quickly to record a bit and then put the heater back on. Now, can barely breathe. It's so hot in here.
Oh, last year we did an episode. I can't remember which one it was, and we had to apologise because we were sweaty, and then we'd take a break and go outside and come back in.
It was this week last year.
Was it?
Yeah, because if you remember, we were stood outside on my drive talking about the British Grand Prix and the Formula One, and so that was literally this week last year.
I do appreciate that if you are listening in the States in particular, especially like we have a lot of Orlando listeners because of you. You won't have any compassion for us at all, but yeah, it's hot. It's very hot. But
they have aircon though.
Yeah, they do. We don't tend to have it in this country. We don't need it. I hope you've got aircon at your wedding at the weekend.
Don't. We've just been discussing. So, wedding on Saturday. Mm-hmm. It's set currently to be 31 degrees, and there's no aircon in the UK. It's not what we do. Yeah. So we've got a 3-piece suit to wear.
You know, when you asked, you said, "Can you be my usher?" I was like, "Oh, that's very nice of you. Of course I will." If you'd have said it'd be 31, and that's Celsius, by the way, not Fahrenheit. People thinking that's not very warm. It is warm, especially for the UK. I might have gone. I might just take a back step so I can wear a shirt and rolled up sleeves. But
so full trousers, shoes, shirt, waistcoat, jacket, tie.
Takes me back to my wedding, like last year. It was similar weather, wasn't it? But because I could only have 6 people there, you weren't asked to do anything other than turn up. But still, it was very hot. So, I'm looking forward to the day, but not looking forward to the heat.
Sure.
So, if you follow us on social media at MLS UK Show, I'll post a picture on Saturday of us together on your wedding day. You did it last year for me, so yeah. Get follow us on there if you want to see Elliot on his big day. Right, so much to talk about today on the MLS UK show. We've got not only a load of action to talk about that happened at the weekend. It was Rivalry Week. We're sponsored by Heineken. You've got to say it's Heineken Rivalry Week, as it's I think MLS would
#spawn.
Yeah. But we've got that to talk about. We also put it out on social media to get some questions from you guys, so we've got a few of them as well. And we'll be seeing who our current MLS UK show championship champions are. We've not done it for a while.
It's winner stays on.
It's winner stays on, as if it's like a boxing or a wrestling title. You put it on the line pretty much every time you fight. So we start at the start of the season with New York City FC because they're champions, and then we go from there. The reason we're not mentioning it in so long is because we have had a team that has defended it quite a few times. That's all I'm going to say. Might give a bit of a hint to who now our new champions are, but they gave it up at the weekend, so I thought I'd bring it up. And, of course, we'll be looking at our predictions for this weekend too.
I've got a game with a change of name to start the show in just a second, but first, a word from Henry Hewitt and Elliot Holman about our sponsors.
The MLS UK show.
Indeed, I'm still Elliot Holman, and I'm here to tell you that this episode is sponsored by Soccer90.com. It is the place to go for all of your MLS merch needs. Not just MLS, international with a World Cup on the way as well. It is going to be a very important place for you to head and make a few purchases.
Yes, exactly. So the best thing about Soccer 90 is that they don't just have MLS shirts on there. They don't just have EPL shirts on there or international, as Elliot said. They've got so much on there for you to look at. I'm on the homepage now and they're advertising Club America So not only those leagues, but other leagues as well. And don't forget, if you go there, if you have a look round, if you think, oh, I want that, or I want that, or I shouldn't really, but I'll have that as well. When you get to the checkout, in the discount code, type in MLS UK and you get 20% off too. So then you might put another shirt in there as well.
I know last season, Soccer 90 and the guys were very tempted to add the Norwich City Premier League shirt.
Were they?
Apparently so. Okay. However, this year, Barcelona's away shirt has been voted the best new jersey.
Nice shirt.
And second is the new Norwich City home shirt.
Well, I mean, you can't believe everything you read on the internet, Elliot. We know that.
I do when it suits me. So maybe it's coming to Soccer 90 soon. Right, guys?
MLS UK show with Elliot Holman and Henry Hewitt.
So, we need to talk about Wayne Rooney. But before we do, and we're switching it up a little bit, we're doing this after the sponsor. Elliot, have you got a game with a changing name for us?
Yes, I do. And of course, Wayne Rooney does qualify as a game with a changing name player. He's had a career that spanned both UK and USA or Canada. However, it's not him today. Oh. You're either going to get this like that, or I don't know if you will.
Okay.
This player started their career in Sao Paulo in 2000.
Right. Okay.
And they moved to Sevilla.
Ooh.
And they've played for Real Madrid.
Mm-hmm.
And Arsenal.
Ooh.
Any ideas before I carry on?
The first, it's saying that they came from Brazil. Mm-hmm. That's a bit of a hint, maybe. So they've played in MLS. Have they played in MLS for a club close to your heart?
Yes.
I think I know them.
Wow, I'm impressed. Yeah. Because I just said to you, I could picture them and I couldn't remember their name. I knew their career path. I knew everyone they'd played for, and I was trying to find their Wikipedia page. So they went on to play for Orlando City in MLS, but who is it?
If you think you know, get in touch with us at MLS UK Show on Twitter and Instagram, or you can just comment on YouTube in the comments below.
They played 23 games for Orlando. I remembered like 2. I don't know how that happened. Scored 6 goals.
Yeah, I think if anyone's going to get this right, then it will be definitely for playing for Arsenal and then Real Madrid.
If you think you know, let us know. Give us your guesses at MLS UK Show on Twitter and Instagram. Or you can, of course, comment on YouTube as well. And we'll know if you've cheated, gone to the end and come back. We know.
So before we talk about what happened this weekend in MLS, we need to talk about the big news. This kind of came over the weekend, and I'll be honest with you, when it was reported, especially in the British press, I was a bit sceptical.
Yeah, let's have none of it.
Yeah, and then Wayne Rooney appears, as we record this on Monday, last night, he appeared at DC Airport, met by Rory, our friend of the show who works for DC, and it appears now that DC hiring Wayne Rooney is something that is quite probable, and it's going to happen. By the time you listen to this or watch this, it probably has happened. We thought we'd had enough excitement with Bale joining LAFC this summer, and then this happens. How excited are you to have Wayne Rooney back in MLS?
Yeah, I woke up this morning at about 5 o'clock, and my phone lock screen, you know when you first see your lock screen when you wake up, there was so many tweets, Twitter notifications, like everybody losing their mind. And I was like, what's gone on? What's happened in what have I missed? I saw the results from the weekend, and I went to bed, and then this happened. And I saw there's a video going around of our friend Rory walking through an airport with a man called Wayne Rooney next to him, which he's greeted off the plane. And it seems like it's happening. Wayne Rooney is back in MLS, coaching DC United. And I'm really, really surprised, but of course, really, really pleased and really thankful.
Yeah, I have got to say that if you'd have said to me a week ago, where will Wayne Rooney turn up next, I'd have thought, well, he'll probably stay in England, maybe the Championship or perhaps League One. I mean, he was linked with the Everton job not that long ago, so maybe he could go back there or a lower end of the Premier League team. But no, for DC United, I think it's a big signing for them. Obviously, Wayne Rooney, as has played for them. He's always been very positive about his time in MLS and his time living in DC, and he's obviously that has appealed to him. So yeah, it's very exciting. How he's going to do, I don't know. But to be honest, for Wayne Rooney, I think this is a no-lose situation, because if you think of here in the UK, let's face it, it's probably where he wants to end back up at some point. There's a lot of eyes in the UK on MLS at the moment, but not as many. So if it doesn't work out, he can still probably go back home and and get a job back here. But if he does well, then maybe that will start putting him in the name, in the frame for some jobs in the Premier League or high end of a championship. So yeah, it's very exciting to see. We are recording this in Derby at the moment, and obviously he was manager of Derby County. I've got to say, I did. You obviously you pay attention to how Derby are doing for Wayne Rooney, but if a DC United fan said to us now, how is a Wayne Rooney team going to play? I don't know. I don't know if there's an identity. I don't know. So I'm really intrigued to see what he does with that team, because let's face it, after the weekend's result, we need a kick up the backside.
What I think is interesting is Rooney himself stuck around at Derby way longer than anyone expected him to. They were going through so many problems. There's rumours that he was paying staff out of his own money. £2.5 million. Obviously he likes being part of a project. He likes to be more involved than just a coach. I get that impression from his time at Derby. He was having to work wonders bringing in youth, and that's exactly what he'll still have to do with DC and their MLS Next Pro team. I love this move for DC. I really, really, really think they've got a fantastic coach in Wayne Rooney. I hope he's given time. I hope DC get time with Wayne Rooney, because he is going to be sought after, and he will still be linked to every championship job and a few Premier League jobs as well, and there'll be no doubt be jobs going at Manchester United, assistant coach, etc. That he's going to be linked with. So I really, really hope that DC and Wayne get some time together to do something special.
Yeah, me too. I think you just got to look at Inter Miami and Phil Neville, and I know Phil Neville, one of his best mates is one of the owners, so maybe he gets more time than what he possibly should do. But you think with Wayne Rooney, the stature of Wayne Rooney, the name itself, you'd think he should get enough time to implement some change. Will it be this season? Possibly not. Although if you look back to when he did play for DC United, when they moved into Audi Field, they were in a similar situation. They weren't doing very well, and he came in, and they then got into the playoffs. So you never know. But I hope he sticks around. I think it's great for the league. I think we've seen a lot of big names in playing on the pitch, but in terms of managers, I think of Patrick Vieira. I know Jaap Stam came to Cincinnati, but we've not really. One went better than the other, but we haven't really seen someone of Wayne Rooney's stature. I know Patrick Vieira is a well-known top player, but Wayne Rooney was when playing one of the biggest names in the world, so we've not really seen that. So for him to come back to MLS and be a head coach, it's fantastic. And I really can't wait to see what happens. And I really hope it goes well as well, actually.
I can't see a scenario where DC get beaten 5-6-0 under Wayne Rooney. I don't see how you can throw in the towel for someone like Wayne Rooney. As a player, you have to perform. He immediately commands respect. He deserves it. He's earned it. And I don't think as a player, if Wayne Rooney's your coach, I just don't see how you can be 5-0 down. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean. It's difficult because Wayne Rooney, if it goes wrong at DC, and players, what I'm trying to say is different in MLS to the Championship, for example. If you lose 5-0 in the Championship, obviously goal difference means a bit more. You could get relegated. As we've seen in MLS, if Wayne Rooney, if DC are still 12th, 13th in 2 or 3 months' time and they're getting beat, then it's different mentality. But I get your point. I think you're right there with what you're saying about the players. how can you not look at Wayne Rooney, as your head coach and be inspired? Because all these players would have been watching the Premier League at the time where Wayne Rooney was scoring goals. So yeah, it's very exciting.
What's a successful season, second half of the season for Wayne at DC now?
Just showing a bit of fight. Can they make the playoffs? Of course they can. Will they make the playoffs? I'm not entirely sure they will. But if Wayne Rooney's DC United show fight, show that they are going to, I think you just need to take that momentum into next season, really. And so that would be a positive for Rooney. If he can get in the playoffs, amazing. He's done a great job, no matter what we do. But I think that would be the aim for me, just to show a bit of fight and show momentum. Would you agree?
Yeah, 10 points would get them into the playoffs right now. Surely there's been 3 games where someone like Wayne Rooney could have made a difference.
Yeah, I think you look at DC now and they've won 1 in 8, and that's probably around 8 games since they replaced Lasada. So Wayne Rooney coming in then, yeah, it could have been a lot different.
Okay, well, when we're looking at this week's action, there's only one place to start, really, and it is with DC. One of the worst defeats I've seen in MLS.
Yeah.
And as an Orlando fan, that's saying something. Where do we even start? What went wrong?
They were just awful, weren't they? Just awful. A terrible performance. Like Philly, they missed a penalty. They missed an open goal from the edge of the area.
So many chances even at half time.
It could have been 10.
Yeah.
It was 5 at half time. It could have been 10 at half time, let alone at the end. Yeah, DC were just awful. I mean, don't get me wrong. Philadelphia are a good team. They've had to score them goals. You look at Carranza's hat-trick. He scored a bicycle kick in that. But the defence was awful. To give him that space to do that, 6 yards out at 1-0, it was just dreadful for DC. And apparently Wayne Rooney watched that match on Friday.
Wow.
And I'm sure as a manager coming in, there's part of you that would, most of you would like the club to win on the game before you come in, just to give a bit of momentum. However, it's not that bad, is it? When a team's been beat 7-0, at least coming in, you go, well, it's not going to get any worse.
What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, it's not going to be 8.
You're going to go and lose 8-0? I don't think so. Yeah, it seemed like a pretty good bookend to that chapter. And it's, Rooney comes in, like you say, if he's seen that result, where does he start? Is he picking a different 11? Has he seen someone that's really, really not impressed him in that? Do they ever play again? I think in MLS you can't afford to you can't afford to do that. Everyone on the roster has earned a space on the roster.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the only player, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 more, but Taxi Fontas is the only one really who's shown anything for them in the last few weeks. DC's next few games: Columbus at home, Minnesota away, Bayern Munich at home, then Montreal away.
As you do.
Yeah, and then Orlando at home. So tough games coming up for Rooney. Just a side note, he won't start the job until he gets his visa, so we don't know specifically when that is going to be, but I'm sure DC would like to get him in as soon as possible, but definitely for that Bayern Munich game.
Surely, I don't know the rules around this. Can he be at training? Can he observe? Can he tell someone else to tell them what to do?
He probably can. I guess you can't seem to be doing the job, but I'm sure he can have a sly word in someone's ear, just say, can you tell him to not do that or do more of that? But Philadelphia, they're second in the East, level on points with Red Bulls. They're 6 points off LAFC in the Supporters' Shield rankings as well. And they hadn't scored in 2 games prior to this game. So, I'm sure they would like to have shared the 7 out amongst the last 3 games, but they're back to winning ways. So, great for them, and they continue. Good form.
Let's talk El Trafico, shall we?
Yeah, what a game this was. 3-2 to LAFC. Gareth Bale was there. He looks very happy, didn't he?
Saw him walking out onto the pitch and got a great reception, as we expected him to. I can't wait to see him in that shirt with the fans behind him every time he gets on the ball. And you just feel like there's going to be some magic early on.
Yeah, I mean, they're smashing it at the moment. They're obviously first in the West. They're first in the Supporters' Shield. Lost only 1 in 11 at home. So, yeah, they're okay as it is. They've just beaten the rivals 3-2. But, yeah, Bale coming in will give them that extra boost. And we said it last time. the defenders of MLS, they'll be having sleepless nights.
Absolutely. What about LA Galaxy then? Because we've talked about them a lot this season, and we've said, yeah, good start, and then not good, and then there was a resurgence.
Well, they've got San Jose at home this next game, so they should win that. Yeah, there has been a resurgence. I mean, that 4-0 win against Montreal was a great result, and they are scoring goals. So yeah, they're fifth at the moment in the West, and yeah, I'm sure for LA Galaxy fans, they've seen this too much. They've seen them only a couple of points above the playoff line.
Just drifting a little bit.
Yeah, they kind of get shivers when they see LA Galaxy in that position. And we'll hope, as we head towards the end of the season, especially on the last game, they will hope that they're not in that position because they've lost it so many times. But I think they'll be fine. I think they're getting some good wins there.
Okay, well, there's a couple of teams behind them that we're going to come on to very soon in Cascadia. But first of all, speaking of Cascadia, Vancouver lost at home to Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota up to 6th in the West. They had a bit of a sticky patch, didn't they? But they've now won 3 in a row, and they get into. We'd probably expect them to be around this position, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I expected them to beat Vancouver, of course. However, like you say, I remember a couple of weeks ago we were doing our predictions, and we were thinking, oh, Minnesota at home, and you started to doubt yourself, like, were they going to perform? Were they going to get the results? But like you say, seem to be turning it around.
Yeah, Vancouver 10th in the West. They're only 3 points off the playoffs, but I don't know.
It's very tight in the West.
It is. They've not. It was the first defeat in 4 games, and then if you look at the teams that Vancouver played in those 4 games, they beat Dallas, beat LAFC, and then drew against New England Revolution.
They can do
tough games, yeah, but. Yeah, I don't know. Vancouver 10th is probably where I'll probably see them being there.
Okay. New York City, big victory at home, 4-2 winners over New England Revolution.
Yeah, watch this on Saturday evening. What a game it was. The fact that New York City FC, I mean, this has got to be a record. Having 3 penalties in the first half. Magno scored the first and then kindly gave it up to Castellanos for the next one. But he missed and then scored the third one.
There was no doubt he was taking the third one after he missed the second one.
Definitely, yeah. He scored 12 goals this season. Top goal scorer for a man who, I don't know, for me, just Castellanos, I think because he started the season quite slow, I'm still thinking that he's not in 5th gear yet. I still think there's more to come from him.
Yeah, I would agree. He's one ahead of Driussi and Ferreira, Dallas, who are on 11. And you feel like by the end of the season he could be 3 or 4 ahead easily.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he's really showing his form at the moment. Gustavo Bo scored in New England Revolution's goals, so they'll be disappointed. They've been playing well. They've drawn 6 but been unbeaten for a long time. So I think they'll be disappointed still that they're in 9th, but they're only 1 point off the playoffs.
We talked about New England dropping off a little bit this season versus last season, which kind of seems obvious.
Yeah.
But one thing that hasn't changed, Carlos Heel still got the most key passes in MLS.
Yeah, he's top quality, isn't he? And him and Gustavo Bo they're big players for them, and they're showing that. And yeah, I think if they can, with them in the team, you expect New England Revolution will do a lot better than 9th. I think they'll have a strong second half to the season. They've obviously made new additions as well. Okay, they've had a few gone out, but I'm still positive. If I was any Revs fan, I'd still be quite positive. And NYCFC 3rd, 1 point off Red Bulls. They had the change. They had I remember when they were, was it 3-1 or 4-1 down to FC Cincinnati and put it back to 4-4. So yeah, they've had the sticky patch. They've come out of it. They'll be disappointed with a draw at home to Atlanta last game, but this is getting back to winning ways. And they've had that. Roddy Dyler left. They had the sticky patch. They're still 3rd.
They've still got Castellanos. He's clinging on.
Yeah.
When we talked about LA Galaxy, we said it's a precarious position. The fans will be getting a bit shaky looking at that. They are 1 point ahead of Seattle and Portland, who are outside the playoff line.
Well, they automatically make the playoffs every year, don't they? So, Galaxy need to hope that there's a few teams in between them and that line. I was surprised by this result, actually.
I was.
Seattle 0, Portland 3. I thought Portland, played great. They've unbeaten in 5 now. Brilliant. But Seattle, I know they could have had a penalty at 1-0, but overall, I guess it was a case that Portland took the chances and Seattle didn't.
The last time I watched Seattle was a couple of weeks ago against SKC. That was at Lumen Field. There were moments in that game where SKC looked like they were, starting to get on top a little bit, and then Seattle just step it up a gear. They seem like they've always got it at home. So 3-0 to Portland.
The irony is, I think that's what happened in this game. I think Seattle were getting back into it, and Portland just stepped up that gear. So, Portland, this was big for Portland. Obviously, remember the 6-2 last year, so they kind of got their own back for that.
Do you want to do the next one?
Not really, no.
No? Shall I do that then?
Yeah.
Cool. It looks like Atlanta United lost 3-0 at home, just like Seattle did. What's gone wrong there then?
Well, where can I start? It was bad. It was so bad. Right, a caveat in this. Austin are 2 points off LAFC. They're a very good team and they're doing very well. However, from an Atlanta point of view, the defending was awful. Our first half, those 2 goals, the Felipe's goal, he's running in, no one's marking him, and he ends up just inside the area to head it in. The second goal, Finley, Caleb Wiley just hits him and goes to him. They could have possibly, it was offside, but they did have the ball in the net for a third time. The most interesting thing about this is Jose Martinez, Jose's quotes after the game. I've got some here. He's basically saying a lot has obviously changed since 2017. Nothing that happened tonight was a surprise.
Ooh.
We all have to think hard about what we saw today. It's my last year here. I've got 1 year on my contract left. And basically just saying there's a problem with the front office. There's a problem with the players. He does mention, we've had injuries, but we can't hide behind that. The thing is, I don't disagree with Martinez. I think Atlanta have a problem. Yes, there's a lot of injuries, but this team is just, I don't know where they're going. I was excited at the start of the season, and now I look and think, well, they might turn it around, but still, I don't think Atlanta are anywhere near competing. And Martinez is right to say what he says. He came out with this sort of thing last year, saying, I don't know if I'm staying or not. You don't want it to be suddenly every year or every time he's unhappy with a manager or every time he's unhappy, he's just coming out and saying, well, I'm going to go then, because you want him to have a bit more respect than that. But you can't blame him. He's a winner. And does he want to be in a team that's losing 3-0 at home? He doesn't.
3 points more than DC. And if DC don't make the playoffs, where's Atlanta at?
At the moment, I don't think we do. I think you look at our next few games, we've got RSL at home and Orlando at home. The big games, but I don't see us winning. I think Orlando come and beat us, definitely. So, there's problems. And then after that, it's Galaxy away. And then we've got Seattle at home coming up. I don't see where we're getting points. There's a big problem at the moment, which is frustrating because especially if you look at the top end of the pitch, we've got some good players, very good players who could probably get into most teams in this league.
What's funny is I feel exactly the same about Orlando, and even down to the top end of the pit. I just think we're literally having the same season.
But you're 5th.
Yeah, but for how long?
No, I think Orlando. Yeah, okay, you lost against DC 5-3, but you're going to be fine. I don't see it with Atlanta.
Orlando got a much better chance of making the playoffs, but right now, if I had to put money on it, I wouldn't be brave enough.
Wow.
True story. Charlotte, though, on the other hand, 4-1 winners over Nashville. Nashville, a team who we give a lot of praise to. Newcomers said they've done it in an interesting way, not gone after huge superstars, just got some great players in. And Charlotte have done exactly the same, and they won 4-1.
They did. We actually, I said before, we put questions out on our social media, and we actually got one back, and it was from a Charlotte fan. Let me find it. It was Thomas. So Thomas got in touch with us and said, basically, do you think Swedish can be a top striker in MLS? And what did you think of his celebration? Now, his celebration, he ran into the crowd, which I thought was great. As long as it's safe. Yeah, I think celebrate with the fans. I'm sure a lot of players look into the crowd and think, God, I wish I was there. It was very good. Swedish Shinishiki scored as well. Do you think he can be one of the big strikers in MLS?
Absolutely. I mean, it's his first season at a new club. An expansion side who have, had their ups and downs already in their time in MLS. Great result of the weekend. They'll be happy with where they are in the standings, absolutely. But I don't know the stats. I think he's maybe scored one every 3 games he's averaging, maybe, which is a pretty solid foundation for a player that's just started in the league.
Yeah.
Next year, we're going to get the answers. Hopefully, they'll build around him a little bit up top. Try and get him even more service. But yeah, to be scoring, I believe, I don't have it in front of me, I believe in terms of appearances and goals, we're looking at more than 1 in 3 games. If he can get that up to 1 in 2, top striker in MLS.
Yeah, he's definitely got it there. He's definitely got the capabilities of doing. Charlotte won away last week, which was a shock for all of us, really. They posted the Usher meme that's going around saying, like, watch this, and they said Charlotte can't win away, which made me laugh. Their next game, they got Miami away next, and then Toronto, Chelsea at home in between that. Is that what is stopping Charlotte at the moment? Is that what the big doubt about them getting in the playoffs? Is it their away form?
Yeah, look, you need to win your home games. We all know that, but you need to be picking up a few away points somewhere along the line. You can't keep getting beaten away. So the fact that they're managing to to hover in ultimately this just below Orlando in the playoffs, sixth in the East, is really, really impressive. If they start, if they picked up a couple of points away a month, that's huge.
Yeah, you're right there. Nashville, I saw this over the weekend. A few fans are unhappy with Gary Smith. A few even saying that he should leave. They're a bit premature, a bit. I was very surprised about that.
Well, they're above Seattle, they're above Portland, they're above Kansas. The level on points with Minnesota and LA Galaxy. Have they got a load of superstars? No. Gary Smith's doing a fine job. 7
out of the next 10 are at home.
I mean, it just shows you how difficult they've had it so far as well. Yeah. Look, he wins 5 or 6 of those, sorted.
Yeah, definitely. Montreal 1, SKC 2. Bit of a surprise this, really. SKC have, they joint bottom, so they've been poor this season. They went 1-0 down, and then Espinoza, what a goal this was. It came from a Montreal corner. It gets cleared away, and he closes down the defender, runs onto it, and then from about 40 yards, dinks it over the keeper. The commentators, because I watched the highlights of this on MLS's YouTube channel, the commentators referred to him as lucky lefty, which I thought was very harsh because it was a great finish.
Yeah, I don't think you do that from 40, 45 yards and then describe it as luck, to be fair. But I wasn't hugely surprised at the result. It's only 2-1. It's not like they've gone and scored 4. We know SKC have got a good team. We mentioned their game against Seattle a couple of weeks ago. They did show that they can create chances. So not massively surprised, but it's a bit of a setback for Montreal.
It is, but they're still 4th in the East. They're 4 points off the top, 4 points ahead in the playoffs. So they're sitting very nicely. And Montreal, if you would have offered Montreal 4th, during the first week of July, you'll be 4th. They'd have took that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right, let's move on now to Toronto v San Jose. 2-2.
Yeah, so Toronto, a lot of noise coming out of Toronto, big signings. It's at this point, it's going to have to be next season we start talking about them doing anything, surely. But getting a point, is a start.
Yeah, they had hoped Insigne would play at the weekend. It weren't to be, but he's not far off. Ibobasi for San Jose, he scored his 10th for the season. Now, bearing in mind that his previous his top scoring season was 11 for Portland in 2019, he's come to San Jose, and has he exceeded expectations? Did you ever see that he could have a season like this?
I think having 10 goals at this point of the season, and the team being bottom of the West, says a lot. If you take him out of the side, yes, somebody else would play in his place. Are they getting 11 goals? Probably not.
No.
So that illustrates to you just how bad problems are for San Jose.
Yeah, definitely. Not even Wondolowski were getting these figures in the last few years. This game, topsy-turvy game, 1-0 San Jose. Then Toronto made it 2-1 with 2 goals between the 71st and the 75th minute. And then San Jose nicked an equaliser at the end. There were quite a lot of late goals this weekend. Lots of drama involved. Speaking of drama, Cincinnati won, Red Bulls won. Tyler Blackett got booked after 90 seconds, and that kind of set the tone for this game.
Yeah, but ultimately, New York Red Bulls are a team that are sitting top of the East. I'll be honest, they've cracked up there because we've been talking about New York City and Philadelphia a lot. And this again illustrating how strong Cincinnati actually are this season.
Yeah, definitely. You look at some of the players. You look at like Acosta, for example, who's scored some goals. I think he's got like 10 assists. It's mad, his stats. So, yeah, it looks like it's coming together. Vazquez got his 9 for the season as well. This is what we've been looking at for Cincy. We've been banging our heads against the wall the last few years going, they've got half-decent players. They brought in the likes of Vazquez and Acosta, and then all of a sudden, they're still being bottom. Now, they're pushing up the table. It's good to see. It's nice to see because you look at that stadium and you look at the fans, they've got a good fan base. So it's good that we're doing stuff for them.
You mentioned Acosta, most assists in the league. DC fans are saying now we've got Rooney, bring him home.
Well, I think any team in the league would fancy Acosta, to be honest. I know a team that plays in red and black in Georgia would love to have a player like Acosta at the minute. But Cincy aren't going to let him go, are they? They're not going to... unless he comes out and says, I want to leave, let me go, please release me, let me go, which I'd love to hear Acosta sing that, but I don't think that'd happen.
Chicago remain bottom of the East.
Yeah,
17 points level with DC. They got a job on their hands, the same as Wayne Rooney.
Yeah, 2-0 up at half-time. Mueller got an assist and a goal. That was the best I've seen Chicago play in so long. So long. They were brilliant. They were absolutely fantastic. And second half, it just... I know Cucho Hernandez came on and changed the game, but...
Remember when they weren't conceding?
I know. It's a long time ago now. But, Columbus, I think Cucho could be a player that we needed. We needed that spark, and he definitely showed it. It makes me laugh because Cucho has said that he signed... Part of the appeal of Columbus is that he wanted to leave London and live in a bit of a quieter city, but... If he carries on playing like this, I don't think he's going to have a quiet time. I think there's going to be a lot of people vying for his attention. But, great result. Great goal from Cucho. Etienne got 2 as well. He's got 5 goals and 5 assists now, Etienne. So, they're not far off, have they, Columbus?
A month ago, we were stood here worrying about them, talking about whether that was it, season over. They're 1 point off the playoffs.
Yeah, so that's how fast it changes in MLS and how fast we're proved wrong. Right, we've not spoke about Orlando yet. 1-0 against Inter Miami. I know. Well, we have talked about Orlando. You said that you don't think that they'll be finishing 5th. You're worried about them, but
you've seen the goal. That's my point. It was an own goal in the 93rd minute or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
And without that, we wouldn't have won the game. And you have to be beating Miami at home.
Yeah, but sometimes you need luck, and that bit of luck, you look at your next few fixtures now, you've got Colorado and Atlanta, then Arsenal, which I love. Love in the summer when we throw in these, these English teams in.
If you thought Atlanta was a difficult game, along come Arsenal.
Yeah. And then you got Philadelphia at home and then Red Bulls at home in the US Open. So tough games there, but also you're looking at Colorado and Atlanta, games where you can get results in and sort of give yourself a bit of a push. But I think it's, okay, you would like to beat Inter Miami by a bit more, but...
They're too inconsistent.
Yeah, but it's a start. It's a start. I'd be very positive. And maybe it's because my team are rubbish at the moment, but it's a bit of positive. Something about this match I did like, and I don't know if this can't be true, but I saw this stat online. Damian Lowe, his own goal. It was the first ever own goal in stoppage time that made it 1-0. Like a game-deciding own goal.
In MLS?
In MLS, yeah, which surely that can't be true.
Wow.
Yeah, there's, 27 years of MLS, so I'm not going to go back in there and go, well, actually, in 1998, you'll find. But, that is true. Very surprising.
Wow. You mentioned Colorado coming up for Orlando very soon. They got a 2-2 draw in the West against RSL away.
Yeah, 2-0 down, and then another late goal to equalise, Abubakar. Yeah, a good result for Colorado. Obviously, we didn't want to lose against the local rivals. They're still in 12th, though, 7 points off the playoffs, not winning 5. Is it game over for Colorado this year, or can they come back?
No, I honestly think it is. And I think it's because the West is really strong this year. If you look at how tight the playoffs are, LA, Minnesota, Nashville, all on 27 points. Dallas on 28. We'll talk about them next. But you've got Seattle and Portland outside of the playoffs. They're going to be the ones that are pushing to get in. And Colorado are 6 points off those. Yeah,
I mean, you look at when we said Vancouver in 10th, and we're not really hoping that we don't have any hope that they'll get in the playoffs. So, yeah, you think you're right. When you've got Seattle and Portland there to pounce, okay, there may be one or two other teams that could do it, but you'd fancy... I think there's only going to be about 2 that drop out anyway, so those teams will replace them.
Last season in MLS UK show history, it was the first time it's ever happened. I did actually get something right, and I said Colorado. No, they're going to do it. They're going to go. They're going to go and win. Not now.
No. Okay then, Mr. Nostradamus. What do you think for RSL? Are they going to stay in 3rd in the West, or are they going to drop out?
I like that they just, and I say this with respect, that they quietly go about their business, and it's because they don't get the coverage that the LA teams get, or Austin, because they're a new side and they've got a new stadium. RSL just chilling, and actually got the upper hand on LA, got the upper hand on Seattle and Portland. So, yeah. I mean, they definitely make the playoffs. Do they stay in those home berths? I don't see why not.
Yeah, they're sticking around. It's the same with Montreal in the East. It's easy to point at them and go, well, they won't make the playoffs or they'll drop out. But they're sticking around, and they're showing consistency. Even though they've not won in 3, they've drawn 2. They're still getting... It's that points tally just ticking over, keeps ticking over. So, yeah, RSL done very well. They'll be gutted, though, that they let a 2-0 lead slip. But... hey, this is MLS, and they weren't the only team to let a lead slip at the weekend.
Another 2-2.
Yeah, Houston v Dallas. There's been some great games amongst the Texan teams this year.
Yeah, so Houston at home hosting Dallas, and this is the point where I'm looking at Dallas going 4th, same as RSL. Do they hang about there? They've played a game more than LA Galaxy. They're definitely in the playoffs. Definitely.
Do you think?
Yeah.
It's bunching up in the West because they're 4th, but they're only 2 points ahead of 8th at the moment. But yeah, Dallas have done great. I think we said in the pre-season, or we said in our season review, I think they've reinvested the sort of Pepe money really well. They've brought some good players in. And yeah, they're looking strong. So yeah, I think they're going through a sticky patch at the moment. They've not won in a while, but they're still 4th. And that's the thing, is these teams are just... it's just sticking around there. It's just that consistency of, remaining there. It's not a season where they're going into 4th and then in a few weeks they'll be back down to 10th and then back up. They're sticking around. So I'm hopeful for Dallas. Tough games coming up. NYCFC and Austin, but they're both at home. So who knows?
MLS UK Show with Elliot Holman and Henry Hewitt.
So we've had a look what happened this weekend in MLS, but we need to have a look now and see who our MLS UK Show Championship champions are. If you're new to the show, what we do throughout the season, as I explained earlier, is we take whoever the MLS Cup champions are from the previous season, and then it's as if they're putting the title on the line every single game. So NYCFC, of course, started the season as champions, but lost the first game to LA Galaxy. So then that meant that they were champions. They defended it, they beat Charlotte, but then lost to Seattle. So then Seattle had it, and so on and so on. The last update we did was New England Revolution had just kept it for a second week because they beat Inter Miami had it, and then they beat Inter Miami 2-0, and then drew 2-2 to Columbus. Now, since then, as we know, New England Revolution have gone on a bit of an unbeaten record.
Wow.
So they had it for 10...
what a time to do it.
Yeah, they had it for 10 games, because if you draw, you keep it. So they had it for 10 games, possibly one of our biggest streaks we've done, because we do this every year. And, of course, at the weekend, they then lost. So now, as like the start of the season, our brand new MLS UK Show Championship champions are New York City FC.
That could go on a while.
It could do. So New York City FC have got Dallas away, then Red Bulls away the next 2 games. So tough games, But remember, if they draw them, you get to keep the championship.
This could go all the way, you know.
It could. It normally goes to at least into the playoffs, and then obviously from there, because we don't have draws in the playoffs, so then it goes to the final. One year we will have it where a random team who is not making the playoffs wins on the last game, and then just they keep it and take it.
It'll be San Jose are going to win it this year.
Do you reckon? Geez, that your pick? San Jose, last game.
Yeah.
Nothing to play for.
Yeah.
But he's still. I don't know the fixtures, but they'll probably play LA Galaxy, and it'll mean LA Galaxy don't get into the playoffs.
By a point.
Yeah. So keep your eye on it and see where it ends up. We'll update it again in a few weeks. So, right, before we finish today, before we look at our predictions for this weekend, we did put out on Twitter, we asked for your questions. We do this every now and again, and we've already answered one. That was from Thomas. That was about Suderski and Charlotte FC. Another one we got was from Brummy Bartlett. Great name. Heidi, who runs the Brummy Bartlett account. Who do you think has been the best player in MLS since you started being interested in the league?
Great question.
It's a great question. I mean, of course, it'd be easy to go with like Ibrahimovic, and when Rooney played for DC, David Villa was a very good player for NYCFC. But I don't know. I think
is it Dom Dwyer?
No, it's definitely not Dom Dwyer. Although I would actually take Dom Dwyer back at Atlanta at the moment, and that says everything. I think for me. I'm trying to think of past MVPs, and I think for me, Giovinco is definitely up there as the best player, on a consistent basis for a few years.
Will Johnson?
No. Carlos Vela, again, when he plays, when he's on form, when he's fit, he's very good. I'd probably have to go maybe Giovinco. What about you?
This is cliche, and because people choose strikers because they make the headlines, but the amount that I fear Josef Martinez, and especially when you look at the Almiron partnership, when they were playing counter-attacking football and they had Martinez with the tap-ins, unplayable.
Yeah, I tried to not choose an
I understand, but I just think realistically, for me to choose him, like he must be up there.
Yeah, and I think because we have been watching it since Atlanta's first game. Well, it was like the season before, and then you were watching it and I was watching it from Atlanta's first game. And to think that Martinez has scored all those goals. You got to remember BWP as well, very consistent, but Martinez, Almiron as well, when he was such a good player. I think them two as a collective. So, yeah, I think Martinez, just because what he's been... I mean, he won MVP in 2018, but it's been like 4 or 5 years of consistency, really, hasn't it?
If we had to even it out and go for some defenders, are we talking Zimmerman, Robinson?
Yeah, I think you go on consistency more than anything. Zimmerman's been great, and I think, he's taken LAFC. I think when they had a few years of a down patch, last few years, I think him going to Nashville was a big part of that. So, yeah, I'd go with Zimmerman.
One thing that I was talking about yesterday, and this is now related to MLS, is we were talking about the best performance you've seen live. Like when you've been in a stadium, what's the best performance of any player you've seen? For me, if we take away Messi, because I saw Messi's first game for Barcelona completely by luck, it's Gareth Bale.
Yeah.
Gareth Bale for Tottenham, unbelievable.
Yeah, that season, I think Tottenham finished 4th probably, but yeah, he had a season. He won Player of the Year, didn't he? And he had a season where he just every game he seems to just do something amazing. And I think that was the season before he signed for Real Madrid, or he had 2 seasons where he was that good. But yeah, hopefully he'll get that and start doing that in MLS too.
Absolutely. Go on, fire away.
Right, another question we had was from Russ. He said, bar Jesse Lingard, if you could transfer one English player to MLS, who would it be? And then he put a caveat to it, try and avoid the obvious big name players like Kane or Foden. We spoke about Jesse Lingard on the last Stoppage Time episode, and you were saying that he's possibly too good for MLS. He's still a job to do in the Premier League. I think I was going slightly different. Would you look at someone who's kind of similar to that, or would you Because I
What
guess
are we transferring them? Does it have to be realistic? Is it just on talent? Is it someone who's up and coming?
I think. Well, he said try and avoid the big names like Kane or Foden. So maybe because I know Sterling's just signed for Chelsea, but he's someone I can see playing in MLS down the line.
He'll be in MLS.
Yeah.
Right now, if I'm trying to avoid the obvious, even going, you've got K, even going down as far as the likes of Maddison, who's got a ridiculous amount of goals and assists this season. It's not realistic. Conor Gallagher.
Right. Okay. So he's just been at Crystal Palace.
Conor Gallagher in behind someone like Cade Cowell.
Okay. That's interesting because he's young. I mean, that would be a massive statement to get someone like him. I know he's at Chelsea, isn't he? But to get someone like him, yeah, okay, or maybe in the future, I'm gonna stick with I'll stick with mine. I think. But no, great question. Both great questions. Actually, all three were great questions. So, if you ever got a question for us, let us know. You can tweet us at MLS UK Show, or you can email us hello@mls.show too.
I was on a bit of a roll with my predictions. Give me the bad news. Go on.
Yeah, you lost the last one, so it's now 4-4.
Brilliant. Well, no need to go through that.
I've got, come on. I got. Actually, I didn't get any spot on. I just got more right than you did.
I remember that being hard last week.
It was. It only finished 10. You got 10 points and I got 20, so it was quite a low scoring one. If you want to get involved in the predictions, as I've just said, get in touch with us through the same ways. And if you basically go through and if you get the right outcome, so let's say let's say you think RSL will beat Atlanta, you get 5 points. And if you say RSL will beat Atlanta 2-0 and we do, then you get 10 points.
Are we doing predictions?
I think we should. Because I think there's some midweek games, isn't there? So we don't do it for the midweek games, we do it for the weekend.
Okay.
Who's playing in midweek, first of all?
That's quite a lot.
Well, Austin v Houston kicks things off. So that's on Wednesday morning. So that's Tuesday evening in the States, early Wednesday morning in the UK. That'd be a good game. I think Austin, you probably think will win, but that'd be a good game. And then there's matches on Wednesday evening in the States, Thursday morning here in the UK. You got Atlanta v RSL, Chicago v Toronto, Cincinnati v Vancouver, DC v Columbus, Miami v Philadelphia, Minnesota versus SKC, Nashville versus Seattle, Colorado v Orlando, Dallas v NYCFC, MLS UK Show Championship is on the line there, and LA Galaxy versus San Jose. The first matches, Atlanta kicks off at 12:30 in the UK. It's from the Chicago-Toronto match down to the Minnesota-SKC match. That's 5 matches, all at 1 o'clock in the morning. So if it wasn't at 1 o'clock in the morning, that would be brilliant TV for us.
For us in the UK, we have to wait until Sunday, technically. Very early hours of Sunday morning.
Your wedding night.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, probably not going to bother. Montreal take on Toronto.
I think Montreal win this. I think 2-1.
Yeah, I'm going to go 3-1 Montreal.
Philadelphia, New England Revolution.
Philly 2-0.
Philly win again. They're not going to win by 7. I think 3-1.
Okay, Chicago are at home to Seattle Sounders.
I mean, the annoying thing is this is the type of match. Bearing in mind Chicago somehow beat Philadelphia the other week. This is the type of match you could possibly win, but I don't think so. I'm going to go 2-0 Seattle.
Yeah, 2-1 for me. Miami are hosting Charlotte.
Charlotte have won away, but they're not that great. I think Miami win 2-0.
I was going to go 2-0. I'll go 1-0. Minnesota versus Wayne Rooney's DC United.
Yeah, probably won't have a visa by then, but I think the players will improve knowing there's a new manager coming in, but Minnesota's a tough place to go. I think Minnesota win that 3-0.
You keep picking on my one. I'll go 2-0. Colorado are at home to LA Galaxy.
1-1.
Galaxy win this 2-1.
Dallas v Austin. This would be a big game. This would be a good game. This
Texas
Dallas.
derby.
Yeah.
Championship could be on the line.
Could be if they beat NYC.
Dallas 2-0 winners.
No, I think Austin go and win 2-1.
Oh wow, I didn't actually know this was happening. Atlanta versus Orlando City.
Yeah, so this is Sunday evening here in the UK.
I'll be busy.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. I will be busy. Don't know what I'm doing.
I'll
yet.
be married then, and my life will be over. There's no point in this game.
You're right. I think they should just stop it. Yeah.
1-1.
No, Orlando win this. I think you win 3-1.
Wow. Could be the MLS UK Show Championship on the line at Red Bull Arena. New York Red Bulls versus NYCFC.
I think it will be. I think Red Bulls will win 2-1.
I think Red Bulls win 1-0.
Oh, Columbus v Cincinnati.
Ohio. I'm gonna go for a 2-1 Cincinnati victory.
Really? I think Columbus win 2-1.
Nashville are at home to LAFC. It's tough, this. I'm going to go 3-2 LAFC.
No, I think Nashville they'll pull it out of the bag. No, I don't. I think it'd be 2-2. I think it was a draw.
RSL are at home to SKC. I think they win 2-0.
Yes, RSL win. I'll go 1-0.
Okay, San Jose versus Houston Dynamo.
I think Houston go and win. Big scoring games always seems to be at San Jose, so I think 3-2 Houston.
I'll go 3-1 Houston. And Portland taking on their Cascadia rivals, Vancouver.
3-1 Portland.
Yeah, I'll go 2-0 Portland. Finally, Inter Miami versus Barcelona.
Yeah, next week is Inter Miami, Barcelona, Charlotte v Chelsea, DC, Bayern Munich, and Orlando v Arsenal, which is great to see. Right, well, that's it from us. Send us your predictions at MLS UK Show. Right, before we leave, we need to find out who the player of the game with a changing name is.
Yes, so somebody who played in the UK and in MLS. So they played for Sao Paulo, Sevilla, Real Madrid, Arsenal, Roma, Malaga, went to MLS and played for Orlando City. Henry, you seem like you got it straight away.
Julio Baptista.
It is indeed 6 big MLS goals for Julio Baptista. Congratulations if you got it right.
So thanks very much for joining us for this episode. Thanks for putting up with us. If you're watching on YouTube, you've probably seen how progressively we've got sweatier and sweatier throughout the episode. We're going to go now, have an ice lolly and just chill out. Good luck on Saturday for your wedding. I can't wait to go. Can't wait to spend the day with you both. And I will post a photo on the MLS UK Show Twitter and Instagram page.
I'll see you on the other side when my life's over. Let's open the garage door. Oh, let the air roll in.
See ya.